Hello everyone, and welcome back to another new album video. We're now on week 51, and this week we're taking a look at Copy Slash Paste by Garbage. First released November 29th, 2024. Some notable tracks on this album include Love My Way, Because the Night, Starman, and 13. This is an interesting album as it's not entirely a new studio album. This is a compilation collection of various garbage singles that they've done over the course of basically their entire career from 1995 up to 2024. So this album is comprised of various like covers that they've done as like B-sides to a single or record store day exclusives, as well as some that were just done as covers for like other albums, like fundraiser albums and things like that, or like tribute albums, if you will. So the only brand new album or brand new song on this album is "Love My Way." That's a psychedelic first cover. Some of the stuff I had on this album I hadn't heard yet, as it was. This is also a record store day exclusive album, and I think the last couple record store day albums from Garbage I wasn't able to get just due to kind of like limited supply and like record stores in the area not even getting these records. So I kind of have a love hate relationship with Record Store Day. I've done it a few times. I think the first time I did it, it was when they dropped. I think it was like The Chemicals was the name of the track. That was like 2015's Record Store Day, where I think it took me like 2 or 3 stores before I found the album that I was looking for. I remember going out again later, for like maybe a couple years later. I don't think the record store I went to had like that particular whatever one they did for that year. They didn't get. I don't even know if they did one that year. But then 2019, I ended up getting that one, but I had to try to go out to a store to get that, and the store I went to either didn't get it or just had very few copies that were already sold out. So I ended up buying that one online. But it's kind of like a love-hate kind of thing with it because usually these records are done in pretty limited supply. The stores that I usually go to would maybe get like just a few copies, if any at all. Sometimes some of the stores just they don't get everything all the time. So getting a hold of these records is fairly challenging and fairly expensive because if you go on the secondary marketplace to get them, they're usually like double the price and things like that. So I don't actually own this one. I ended up having to basically. They did release a digital version of the album. We'll get to that a little bit later in the video. There is a digital version of the album, but it's abridged. We'll get to that in just a moment. But I have some notes here about the album, and then we will get to the track list and all that as well. So here we go. So Copy Slash Paste by Garbage, like we first mentioned, first released November 29th, 2024. This was their Black Friday Record Store Day exclusive. See, there are 10 tracks on the album. They're all covers that they've released over the years from 1995 to 2024. Most of them had been released in some form or another over that time period, with Love My Way being the only one that was previously unreleased. Also, apparently, Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses was done for, I think, like a U2 cover album, like years ago. Like maybe, I think it was like 2010, maybe 2011. And this is the first time that this song has actually appeared on something that Garbage has put out themselves. So that was like done for like a cover album, and now it's actually on something that they're releasing on their own. Most of the other stuff on the album was released as, like I said, like B-sides to a single, other record store day exclusives, tribute albums, and that kind of thing. There are a bunch of covers that were not included on this album, which leads people to believe and think that there might be like another cover album coming at some point because they've done a lot more covers than would fit on this. This is probably their biggest record store day release so far because usually it's been like a 45. I think this was released on just like a 33. Don't know the speed, but it was like a 12-inch record. So usually you get like a few songs on the Record Store Day albums This one is closer to a full album as it comes in at 10 tracks. There were only 3,200 copies of this album made, with right now no possible like reason to think we're going to get a digital version. I think Garbage actually came out and said, I think they initially planned to do a digital release, but there's a bunch of distribution and like legal like rights issues probably preventing that. That's why they ended up doing the abridged copy. So I think there was like a lot of those covers. I think the covers that were released on this album are all of the ones that they've done on their own label, which was like I think Stun Volume. I think it's part of BMG now, or maybe it always was part of BMG. But a lot of the covers that were off of a lot of their older work aren't on the digital version, probably due to rights issues, maybe with the original labels that those albums or those songs came out on, maybe rights issues with the original, like rights holders or owners of the original tracks. They didn't go into a whole lot of detail of why they weren't able to do the digital version, but just a few days ago, they put out an abridged version on like streaming services. So for me to listen to this entire album, I had to kind of create my own playlist. Did it on Apple Music, and I think it was using stuff that I already had in my library, plus the stuff that was released as part of the abridged version. So the abridged version has 6 tracks, while the full album has 10 tracks. We're going to get into the track listing now. So let me just close the notebook. We're kind of done with that. So let me just pull up the track listing here. And again, this is a cover album, so we're going to go off of the track. Okay, it doesn't actually have the runtime on it. Let me actually just pull up my little playlist here. Because I made my own. Let's see here. 10 tracks, and I have it in here at about 41 minutes. Don't have the exact time count because of the seconds, but Apple Music has it at 41 minutes off the little playlist that I built. Anyhow, so track 1 is Starman, which is, of course, a David Bowie cover, and it was off of the Destroying Angels single. I remember that release. I forget when that released, like 2018, maybe 2019? 2018. Track 2 is Butterfly Collector, and that is, I think, from the B-side to the Queer CD single from their first album, and that's a cover of the song by The Jam. Track 3 is we have Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses. That is originally by U2, and this was from the Achtung Baby cover, which I think was basically just covers of. Don't know if I think it was just the Achtung Baby album by U2 covered by various artists. So this is the first time this one's actually showed up on an official Garbage collection and not just the cover album that it was on originally. Track 4 is 13 by Big Star. That was on the Push It CD single. I think it was also a lot of these got included on the deluxe or the anniversary editions of I think their first like 3 or 4 albums, because they did the self-titled anniversary in 2015, and they did the version 2.0 anniversary in 2018. 2021 they did the Beautiful Garbage anniversary edition, and then in 2024, I think just to get it out of the way, they finally released Bleed Like Me on vinyl. But anyhow, so track 4 is 13, again a Big Star cover originally. Track 5, this was a new one to me. It was Song to the Siren, which is a Tim Buckley cover, and it was on the Lie to Me EP, which I think was, let me see, the last April's, or this April of this year's Record Store Day exclusives. That's one I missed. I think that one is still available digitally, so I probably will buy that one at some point. So, but again, track 5 is Song to the Siren. Track 6 is Love My Way, by the Psychedelic Furs. First time I remember hearing that song, I think was, don't know if I've ever heard it in the 80s, but I definitely remember hearing it on the Grand Theft Auto Vice City soundtrack. But this is basically the song on this album that has not been released up to this point. Track 7 is Cities of Dust, which is a Susie and the Banshees cover. That was also part of the Witness Your Love EP from The Record Store Day previous to this one, so the April 2024 Record Store Day. So that was The Witness Here, Love EP. Again, one I hadn't heard yet. Let's see, and then we go to track 8, which is Candy Says, which is a Velvet Underground cover, which is from the Breaking Up the Girl single, which I think is from Beautiful Garbage. Let me see. Yeah, Beautiful Garbage. That was also included on the 2021 Beautiful Garbage anniversary release, so I've heard that one before. So again, track 8 is Candy Says. Track 9 is I Just Want to Have Something to Do, which is a Ramones cover. And that one was from We're a Happy Family, a tribute to the Ramones. And I think that one actually showed up on the Believe Like Me re-release, or the vinyl release that they just did fairly recently. And then track 10 is Because the Night. That's actually, I think it's Garbage and the Screaming Females covering Patti Smith. So Patti Smith, Because the Night, also Bruce Springsteen as well. But that one, I remember I have that Record Store Day album as well, because they recorded it kind of like maybe after what was the album? It was the Not Your Kind of People tour, because they were doing that tour with the Screaming Females opening, and they basically had, basically it's not a duet, it's basically both bands covering that song. So Garbage and the Screaming Females covering Patti Smith. So that's track 10. That's the entirety of the album unabridged. The abridged version, which you can actually get on digital and streaming, it just has 6 tracks. So it has Starman, Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses, Song to the Siren, Love My Way, Cities and Dust, and Because the Night. So I think all the stuff that was included, that was not included on this, is stuff that they recorded prior to kind of forming the Stud Volume record label. So Butterfly Collector's not on there. 13 isn't on there. Let's see here. 13. Love My Way is actually, it's on that one. So let's see what's not on there. So Because the Night is on there. Let me see. So that one includes, doesn't include Butterfly Collector. Doesn't include 13. Doesn't include Candy Says, I Just Want to Have Something to Do. Is that correct? Let me see here. So doesn't include the Butterfly Collector. Doesn't include 13. Doesn't include Candy Says. And it doesn't include I Just Want to Have Something to Do. So yeah, those are the 4 tracks that are not included on the abridged version, which is what you would be streaming it on if you were listening to it digitally. So I do have most of those other covers in my collection in like some capacity. So I was able to kind of create the entire playlist. I think some of the stuff, like all the stuff off Stud Volumes, like in print, is actually just on streaming anyway. But there was just some rights issues and like things like that between their record labels and distributor that didn't allow them to do the entire album digitally. I think they planned on it initially, but they weren't able to do it due to kind of like rights issues. I do hope to add this album to my collection at some point, but Record Store Day stuff is like, it kind of doesn't really go down in price unless they just do like another like print run. And usually the whole thing of Record Store Day is usually it's like the print runs are kind of one and done, and they don't often get reissued. I don't know if any of them have ever been like fully reissued at this point. Sometimes they take the songs off of those and put them in other collections, like with this. But again, like I said earlier in the video, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Record Store Day. I like being able to get a hold of those when they're like reasonably priced, but going out to the stores and actually trying to find them is always kind of a nightmare, just based on, like people get to those stores really early. The stores may or may not even get the record that you're looking to get, and so on. But I'm glad that this is a collection that now all these covers are kind of available in one place generally, unless you're doing like the streaming, which you're only getting 6 out of the 10. And hoping we get, basically, Garbage has said this is kind of like a volume 1, so to speak. So hopefully we get a volume 2 with some other covers. Let me see what other covers they've done that haven't been included. There's a few. Let me actually just pull this up here. So I know they've done covers of Where Do the Children Play, Wild Horses, Pride in the Name of Love, and Can't Seem to Make You Mine. So hopefully in the future we'll get another album, maybe with an all-new cover, because like it looks like this is stuff that was mostly already available in some form, with the exception of Love My Way. So hopefully we get a brand new cover at some point whenever they do like copy paste volume 2, if that's what they're going to call it, if that's even going to be a thing. But that is going to do it for this video. We just have one more album to go in the series, and then we'll break down kind of everything we listen to for this series on like a future video. And then probably a whole other series about everything I listened to in 2024, which is a lot. But that's going to do it for now. So again, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.